Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of March. I hope you are well. We are using the Commonplace Tarot for you today. Now, if you haven't seen these readings before, we do them slightly differently to the way that we do the main monthly readings, in so much as we are looking for the lesson. I think that there is wisdom, or indeed a lesson, contained in every experience and interaction that we have, if we are open to seeing it, and too often we are not. So consider this an exercise in perspective. What we will do is pull 3 cards for your current energy. We will, like an energetic snapshot, right? So we'll see exactly where you are right now, and then we will pull 3 cards to see why you are there in the first place. Now, sometimes it's trying to teach you something about yourself. Actually, almost always it's trying to teach you something about yourself. Other times it will be trying to show you what's trying to leave your life, or what's trying to come into your life, you know, show you the ways in which you're sabotaging yourself, all that sort of thing. We won't really see, and we won't really know, in fact, until the cards hit the table. And the idea is that we try and get out ahead of this energy, right? So rather than being stuck with sticky emotional things, or, you know, avoidance and stuff like that, we can see why we are navigating this challenging stuff, and try and perceive the road in front of us, right? Seeing the wood for the trees and all that. And we'll close out with 3 cards of advice. So hopefully that makes sense. Stick with me if it didn't, because I'm sure it will by the end of the reading. I should put the fucking window. So, can I have 3 cards for Capricorn, please? It's got the 7 of Pentacles. Oh, we've got 3 come out together there. We've got the 9 of Swords, the 3 of Pentacles, and we've got the World card. And one more for Capricorn. Fuck. That's 2. Fucking hell. Right. We've got the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. That's Scorpio and Virgo energy, respectively. We've got the 4 of Cups at the bottom of the deck here. We've got something quite interesting going on. 4 of Cups and Wheel of Fortune there. 4 of Cups deals with rejection or rejecting, right? It talks about the ways in which we either deliberately emotionally isolate ourselves, or we feel emotionally isolated by perhaps events, with this Wheel of Fortune here. Now, the important thing about the Wheel of Fortune is that there's often a teaching moment associated with this energy here. So there is something that you are being shown about yourself. And although I haven't got a card out to specifically speak to this yet, it might come out in a minute, I feel like consequences are a huge part of what is being laid out here, whether they are consequences from actions that you've taken in the past, or consequences of other people's actions that are now kind of arising for you to deal with. Not entirely sure, it will be different for each of you, and please do just take this as it resonates to you. But what we've got down here is actually a process. As I'm looking at it here, I mean, sometimes you want to look at all of the cards at the same time, and it's like, what are all of these things that are firing off at once? And sometimes it's a starting point and an end point, and yours is definitely the latter at this point, Capricorn. So we have a situation that you find yourself within at the moment, where there seems to be a lot of energy being put in and not very much reward, or certainly not the level of reward that you were anticipating. Now, whether these 2 things are connected or not, you know, putting in lots of effort at work but not getting acknowledged for it, putting lots of effort into your relationship but not having it acknowledged, or not having it lead to any kind of significant changes, those things are possible. Or whether it is that actually everything in your life is just slightly dissatisfactory at the moment, and you can't quite work out why. I mean, the 7 of Pentacles for me is quite a present energy. It speaks of, you know, kind of taking a step back and looking at everything and going, well, where's the issue here? Is the issue with this, or this, or this, or is the issue here with me? I'm not entirely sure, and until I know, I won't know whether I need to put more effort in or stop putting so much effort in, you know? I quite like it because it's got that kind of present assessment about it. But we have here the 9 of Swords, the 3 of Pentacles, and the World. So there is anxiety and concern about something at the moment. The Nine of Swords definitely leans that way. The interesting thing about the Nine of Swords is that it often can indicate that what you are concerned about doesn't really have that much of a basis in reality. Like, it's all up here. It's an expression of overthinking or something like that, you know? But the Three of Pentacles here deals with the way that we work with other people. It's teamwork, it's cooperation, it's collaboration, and it could be, well, that is coming to an end. Now, again, take it as it resonates with you. Perhaps it's a particular, you know, work relationship that has done very well up until this point, but now is kind of starting to falter. Maybe the other person is losing interest. Maybe you are losing interest, you know. Same could be true for relationships, but the World card is a definitive ending. Now, the good thing about that is that from there, we have a new start, right? That endings and new starts are essentially the same thing for me. It just depends from what angle you view that particular occurrence, you know? But whatever it is, it seems to have been causing you some level of concern, some level of anxiety, some level of overthinking. And then we have the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this is quite an interesting end to this set of cards, because what it says is what you're experiencing at the moment is going to lead, and is perhaps in the process of actually having that happen now, to a greater level of emotional understanding by you. It's kind of leveling up. And we see that the World card actually as a graduation card, because from there you start again, but you start at a higher level than you were before. Now, it could be that you're seeing the value of your own emotional state in decision making. It could be that there's a higher level of compassion that is now available to you because of, you know, the way that you're looking at situations right now. I'm going to pull another card because I'd like a little bit more information from that. Tell me about the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, please. We've got the Empress card. I feel actually, wow. Actually, ever since I just turned those two over, I just had a sudden wave of relief. And it's almost like something's coming to an end and you did not realize quite how much it was stressing you out, trying to work with someone else to do something, whether it's within a romantic relationship, whether it's a work situation, whether it's some other aspect of your life, right? It's coming to an end and that concerned you, but I feel like it's the change that concerned you, the shift, rather than the value of the thing in and of itself. Because King of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, but then we've got the Empress and the Seven of Swords, with the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here. So the Empress talks about fertility and abundance, the creation of new life. I'm not saying you're all going to go and get pregnant or get someone pregnant. More it is about creating something new and bringing it into the world. Right now, that can be a new idea, that can be a new project, that can be a new version of you, Capricorn. And I feel like that latter version is the most likely here, because because it's coming up under the King of Cups and this Knight of Pentacles, right? There's slow movements here, but they are movements that suit you. Eight of Pentacles, you know, you're working pretty hard on something at the moment, and I don't get the impression that it is this. I mean, perhaps it is negotiating the transition between working with someone and working alone, in whatever respect that applies. What we got here, or even how you bring the balance to that transitional stage, right? But the relief seems to be coming from the fact that you are freed up now to create something new. You're freed up to be a new version of yourself, or be in a new relationship, or, you know, be in no relationship, or, you know, however it applies. And it's here with this Seven of Swords, which is interesting because it's often given to be associated with risk-taking, right? But for you, it feels about the level of self-deceit that you have been practicing upon yourself, where you were telling yourself that the way that things were was okay, it was good, this is very fruitful, this will be great, but sort of knowing underneath that it is none of those things. And so as it comes to an end, this wave of relief coming over you, right, and the acknowledgement that actually you were kind of fooling yourself over, it seems to be quite strong. do we have here? Yeah. This is all about liberation and release for you, Capricorn. I don't think you've any interest in continuing whatever it is that you are doing. Yeah, so for some of you, it absolutely is going to be a work relationship. Let me just put those cards up that we've got there. 3 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups, and the 8 of Pentacles there, right? For some of you, it will be work associations or perhaps even your job. For others of you, it will be romantic situations. There's a sense of you pulling away from a group of people or one person that you spent a lot of time investing in your own way, only for it to not work out the way that you wanted. And rather than it feel like the world's coming down, which is how you felt before it ends, that 9 of Swords there, actually post that situation, everything feels much freer. You are free to work at your own pace, invest in your own things the way that you want to, and there's liberation here. Very, very strong. Oh, I like this. So tell me about why Capricorn. What was Capricorn supposed to learn from this situation? Shit. Okay. We've got the Ace of Wands. I'm not going to take all of these because that's like 7 cards. That's ridiculous. So we've got the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. I mean, out on the table. Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, but that will disappear in a second. So what was Capricorn supposed to learn from this? You have the 8 of Pentacles. Got the 5 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups with the Sun at the bottom of the deck here, and it's almost like Capricorn, on reflection, you could have made this change much easier, much earlier for yourself. You know, I don't feel like you are the one bringing the world to bear here. I think that you've been confused about it for quite a while, and so this is either ending kind of holistically all on its own, or the other person is doing something about this, or you know, the situation is just sort of crumbling around you. But like it seems to me like the realization that happens, the realization that comes with the relief, is that actually you could have changed this much earlier, and the consequences of ending this situation were nowhere near as bad as you thought they were because of the relief, right? And what I don't want you to do is kick yourself about it, because that's not useful at all. But you've got that 5 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups there, right? This has not been meeting your own basic needs, whether they are financial, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever, for quite a long time. And you could have changed it. Next time you will change it faster, you know? Yeah, I think that's all I want to say about that so far. But this is all really positive for you, because you kind of get what you want, but you've also learned something in the process. There's almost an empowerment that comes from it, even though it wasn't necessarily earned exactly in this point. You know that in the future you will do things differently, because those consequences aren't quite as terrifying as your mind had made them out to be. Now, some cards of advice, please, for Capricorn. We've got the Hierophant. We've got the Temperance card, and we've got the 5 of Wands. Let's get one more for that. Yeah, 6 of Cups and the Strength card. Yeah, here's the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So that's 3 aces that we've seen now for you. The one that's missing is the Ace of Cups, and I feel like the Ace of Cups here is yours and yours alone, and it sits here in the hand of the King of Cups as you grow emotionally through this situation. You know, and the Hierophant is a card of structure. It's a card of tradition, But it's also a card of being a teacher, and maybe you've realised that actually what you were doing was teaching the other person rather than engaging in some sort of, you know, reciprocal, meaningful exchange. You know, it's almost like the power balance was very one-sided, and, you know, it might be actually that the other person perceived it sitting more in your camp than you did. But there's a sense here of that being released in favour of more balanced situations in future. Like I said, this all seems to be about what you have learned and what you will apply moving forwards. We've got the Temperance card there. It's the card of Sagittarius. It's about balance and equilibrium and those things being very, very important, but it's also a card of healing. It's a card of having, you know, got on top of a very challenging situation and, you know, emerged bigger, you know, having grown. We've got that Strength card there. But the Five of Wands and the Six of Cups is quite interesting, because this says the conflict that you found, that you were dealing with or are dealing with in this situation here, this springs up from a place in the past. It springs up from an old situation, perhaps your childhood, and that resistance in making the changes, resistance in ending things, turning things upside down, right? This was residual from childhood, and you are leaving that behind now. Like I said, I get a sense very strongly that you will not make this mistake again, and you will not brook this mistake being made by other people at you again. And so you have grown, you have expanded, and there's a certain amount of empowerment that's come to you emotionally by the realization of all of this right here. So I'm going to leave it there, Capricorn. I really hope that that was helpful to you. It's the only intent I ever set. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.